Greetings and welcome to Flesh Wound Horror Live, fresh out of the theater from The Monkey. I'm Flesh Wound Dan, joined by producer Todd.
Good evening, good late night, however you want to do it.
Yeah. Well, either one works. So we're fresh out of the theater. We got to see Stephen King's The Monkey early, and we're gonna get right into it. Before we do, just for you readers out there that are curious, The Monkey is based on a short story in Stephen King's Skeleton Crew, and we'll compare that a little bit. I've read the story, and it should be fun. But The Monkey, directed by Osgood Perkins, follows. When twin brothers Bill and Hal find their father's old monkey toy in the attic, a series of gruesome deaths start. The siblings decide to throw the toy away and move on with their lives, growing apart over the years, but this monkey won't stay buried. All right, so The Monkey, once again, based on a short story in the Skeleton Crew collection. For those curious, this film adaptation is significantly different from the story. The original short story is very serious. It's a little, I think it's like 30 some pages, I believe, depending what book you have. It's much more of a serious tone than this. This may be the year of the horror comedy, because I could tell from the commercial that we were going to have a lot of humor in this movie. But this one's like, again, this is heavy on the gallows humor, but it doesn't take itself too seriously. This is very much a dark comedy with gore, kind of Final Destination done as a
very, very Final Destination. That's like the vibe
that
I got coming out of it.
Yeah. And now this doesn't matter to me, because I actually found quite a bit of the gore gags quite hilarious in this one.
Yeah.
The cast is fantastic. Theo James, who plays both brothers, he's great. Tatiana Maslany, who I know you comic people out there probably know her as She-Hulk. She'll always be the star of Orphan Black to me. She's fantastic as the mom. And we get some familiar faces that pop up in the cast. Everybody is just awesome. The preacher is fucking hilarious. A little out of place, maybe, but like
that's what I like. The tone really was like, okay, this is what we're getting.
Yeah, very, just
because I avoided the trailers. I think other than seeing the monkey do the pound, that first little teaser, I didn't see. So I didn't know what tone we were getting. I just was sold on Osgood Perkins.
Yeah, and we're not doing spoilers tonight or anything, but there's a lot of differences from the story. I mean, I'm not as musically knowledgeable. I believe they're called cymbals. He's got the drumsticks in this movie.
Well, okay, now here's my question. I was going to bring this up when we talk about the book also. Monkey Shines is an actual book, not a novella, right?
Monkey Shines is that it's different. That's not.
Yeah, I know. That's why I wasn't sure if they're shortened the same thing. That's why.
This is. I want to,
because I was going to say Monkey Shines was a novel. That's why I did.
This I want to say is 32 pages long.
Yeah.
And now look, this is a comedy. I mean, I think a lot of people that have some of the same issues with Hard Eyes might have similar issues here, because I mean, it's never scary. And I think some people are going to not like that. But I like just black humor, and I just really like the messaging in this one. I thought the very last shot was really cool. And you have to have a fucked up sense of humor. And if you do, I think you're a really good time.
I think tone-wise, Final Destination is probably the best comparison. I think fans of that, well,
Yeah, a lot more humor in this though.
yeah, there was, but it's still, I think, yeah, I don't. I think because of the gore and I think people are going to be more forgiving than they were for Hard Eyes last week. I really do.
Yeah, I think maybe. I'm very curious. Obviously, we're seeing this early, so
Yeah,
I
it
have
doesn't
no
have that.
idea.
It doesn't have that tone switch of the other one, so everything feels organic and in the same world. While it does get a little bit more outlandish as we go, um, I do think, yeah, I think the complaints of last week won't be the complaints next week. I think it'll be accepted a little more, and I do think Osgood Perkins has good grace from his last film. You know,
Yeah, that split people too. I mean, this will definitely do the same. Um, and
everything splits everyone now. That's just how
yeah,
it is.
it's a personal story to Stephen King because in here, Stephen King's dad also abandoned him, and yeah, I mean it. I really, I really dug this one, man. Just the preacher who's got like 2 lines, like, oh fuck,
I,
like
I I love the Osgood Perkins cameo as the uncle.
the swingers.
Yes, and the one thing about it, it was kind of tripping me out. I was like watching it, I'm like, fuck, they got the casting right with Psycho 4 because I can see a resemblance with Henry Thomas and Osgood Perkins. I
Yeah,
could believe that they would be related.
yeah. Osgood Perkins is
And for,
credited for a minute. I was almost like, wait, is that Henry Thomas?
see,
Like,
that was what I did too. See, and that's funny, and that's what I was saying. Like, if you don't know, Henry Thomas played young Norman Bates in Psycho 4.
yes,
So,
yes,
like, yeah, and that's what I thought at first. I was like, oh shit, because I was thinking that's pretty awesome. He would cast Harry Thomas, and then I'm like, wait, no, that's Osgood. It was just that split second where I was like, oh, that's really cool, and then it dawned on me
yeah,
that it was actually Norman's son, not his young
yeah.
version.
It took a minute. We also get Adam Scott,
Yeah,
who's also hilarious. I mean, there's a lot of actors in
and
this that
Elijah Wood. Don't forget him.
Elijah Wood. At that point, I was like, okay, this is definitely not going to be played too serious. It's going to be very tongue in cheek, because
Yeah.
we have these great character actors who pop up in these small parts, and I think it's going to satisfy gorehounds, but I will say a lot of the mayhem is fairly heavy on the CG. So I'm kind of curious how like Kruger reacts to it because
He's never really complained during the Final Destination films.
yeah,
I think
or,
because when you give him creative kills, I think, and you're relying on I think that gets a pass. 'Cause I know I'm like, okay, so I don't want to speak for him. You will get his opinion as soon as this goes wide.
yeah, I don't know, very creative, just yeah, a little bit heavy on the CG.
Yeah,
And it really goes bonkers in the finale, uh,
yeah.
which I had a lot of fun with. And you know what, humor wise, what I'd also compare this one to is I never saw the British version, so I can't compare that, but Shameless, the TV show. At
Mm.
times I felt like I was almost watching a macabre version of that.
with the brothers and stuff. Yeah, I see where you're going with that.
Yeah, the line where again, not a plot spoiler or anything, but the scene where like the uncle just kind of sits down with the kids and he's just like so your aunt and I are swingers. It's like we're gonna do our best, but we're probably not gonna be very good with you. Just the way they delivered the lines was just so funny. This is another one of those movies. I guarantee you at the end of 2025 it will be on best ofs, it will be on worst ofs,
Yeah.
which is also with Long Legs. I mean, there were people that had that as like number one, and then there were people that fucking hated it. But that one, very different tone from this. This is
Yeah, yeah. So it's not one of those cases. Well, if you don't like Long Legs, you're not gonna. It can go either way. It's not like, yeah. Don't be like, oh, Osgood Perkins. It's gonna be like Long Legs. It's not
yeah,
at all.
Scratch quoting a pretty funny, pretty funny line. Actually, the last kill in the movie, like, actually, at my theater, people were laughing their ass off. It was just so, yeah. It's so funny. So yes, I'm very curious to see reactions to this. I feel like with all the Stephen King adaptations, I don't know how many purists there are left at this point. So, and again, it is a short story. It's 30 some pages. The ending is definitely different. I didn't get to reread it. I tried to skim a little bit, but yeah, very, very different than that story. Probably one of the fantastic cast, one of the better casts I've seen in a while. And I think Theo James hits a home run. Curious to see the reactions to this one. I really am. Let's see what else. Did any of you guys in the chat see it tonight?
Well, there's a quote.
Scratch did, so I assume you did. Orc, I think you will have a lot of fun with this one. I actually, I think this is an orc movie. Todd, you think you're going to prefer this over the other monkey movie this year?
Oh, better man. Yeah.
The one you have bitched about all year. Well, I'm going to take that as a yes. So yes, we are going to have a more thorough, in-depth review of this with Pugs and Kruger when it goes wide. This was one night only, right, Todd?
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the 22nd, I believe it will be wide for all of you guys. Go in expecting a comedy, a dark comedy, plenty of gore. And I think you're going to have fun. It did. It's kind of Looney Tunes again. And I don't mean that in a bad way at all. It's like a gory, itchy and scratchy cartoon at times. And I kind of dug it.
Yeah. 21st is when it goes wide. So the screenings start the 20th. So next Thursday.
Okay. All right. So guys, be sure to check it out. Todd, what do you rate this one?
I think I'm going to try to get it in one more time before that next review, just to see, because I was going back and forth. Right now, I'm a 4.5. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I as a dark comedy first, horror second, I do give it 4 out of 5 because I was laughing a lot. I love awkward humor. I love like fucked up families and kind of having a little fun with generational trauma through this monkey doll.
This is fun generational trauma. I'm all in on that.
Yeah, Shameless. Again, Shameless. It really kind of that show's hilarious to me. Or Weeds. I think you'll be right at home with this. So if you guys got to see it early, I'm very, very curious to get your thoughts in the comments. Please comment, like, subscribe, share this video. We really appreciate it. And since we don't do super chats, since we're a bit naughty, if you look at some of the other shows, patreon.com/fleshwoundfeatures. It starts at just $1. And we appreciate you helping us out. And we put a ton of content on there. So go check that out.
You know what we need, Dan? We need some NECA full-size figures. I'll buy that one.
It's funny. It did give me the urge to hit eBay and look for like one of the
old school little wind-up. I get you.
Although they usually have the cymbals, not the.
Yeah,
I've seen the drums before, so I'm gonna have to look because I was kind of like, this is pretty cool.
Yeah, well, I'm sure someone's gonna make one.
yeah. I'm also very curious to see what the box office ends up being.
Well, you got a couple weeks.
Yeah, that's true. So I don't know, 2025, it might be the year of the horror comedy or comedy horror in this case. Might not be a bad thing. We'll see. But I think
we need to laugh this year. I think it's going to be, we need some humor.
Yeah, I think everybody can use a good laugh in 2025, no matter who you are. And yeah, give us your thoughts in the comments. I'm very curious, and we will see you back here Valentine's night, Valentine's evening, with our review of Ken Russell's Horror and its sequel, Horror 2. So don't miss that and all of our other content coming to the channel. Good night.